Hello, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Author from New Degree Press. I'm your host, John Saunders, also the host of the Creator Community Podcast from New Degree Press. Today is a very special episode. I have with me Ashlee Berghoff, author from April 2021, coming back to share her story and what she's been up to for the last year or so since her book came out, and to announce some very exciting news about a new edition of her book available. Ashlee, so good to see you. It's been a while.
I'm really thrilled to be here. It's really fun to catch up.
Super fun days for you, as I understand. You've been busy this last year, right? April 21, your book published. What happened next?
I've been running my business ever since, and had our second daughter in December.
Congratulations.
So our company ran for a couple of months with someone else on my team without me, and I just came back from maternity leave.
Wow. Welcome back. Welcome back. And now you've got a new child. So you have two kids now, right?
Mm-hmm. Two daughters, 2.5, and the newborn. So they're keeping me busy.
So you have your own business, coaching and consulting for entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're on a mission to help entrepreneurs take back their time. So we do systems consulting and workflow process building and virtual assistant recruiting.
Who is it more difficult to coach, two young children or entrepreneurs, would you say?
The entrepreneurs, it's an easier conversation for sure.
That's amazing. So your book, Eureka Results, as we said, came out last April, and you were on our podcast. You were actually season 1, episode 1 of the Creator Community Podcast. So you're also a brave soul. Raised your hand to be the first episode. Thank you very much for indulging us on that one. That is available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you'd like to hear Ashlee's story. You can find that. But now here you are, fast forward to this period of time. You're almost a year out, and now you have a new edition of your book coming out. Is that right?
Yes. Our audiobook is now live for people who are like me and don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and read, especially when it comes to business books. So that was really, really fun to put together. I always had a dream of being a narrator, though I think I got that out of my system and good on that front.
The novelty of it wears off a little quickly, doesn't it?
Sure does.
How long would you say it took you? So your book is probably 4 to 5 hours in sort of length, audiobook?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how long it took you to record that all in?
It was probably 7 or 8 hours of being live, another several hours of going back and fixing the times I messed up the first time. A lot of times of muting and waiting for airplanes to pass. Right. It was probably a 30-hour process end to end.
I don't think I was too far off from that in my experience to get a 4.5 hour book. So, well, congratulations on getting that out there. And that is available on Amazon, I think, wherever you buy, or on Audible and Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Those are the biggies right now.
Congratulations on getting that off the ground. And
thank you.
How does it feel to be back to work after 3 months with Alexei?
It feels really good. I honestly didn't know whether it would or not. But having the ability to come back and there weren't any fires to put out, and we could just plan on what was next and kind of find a new rhythm and reconnect with people. It was very clarifying of why I'm doing this, right? What makes it worth it. And it definitely feels worth it. And it's been really fun, actually, to come back.
So thank you for sharing that. And how do you even prepare to be gone for 3 months? That one, I couldn't even imagine that. What lessons, are there lessons from your book that help you prepare for this? How did that happen?
Yes. That was a big part, really learning through, the crucible of entrepreneurship, how to set up a business that ran really clearly and efficiently. And then honestly, I have so much gratitude for Jennifer. She's been on my team for 3 years. So we've been figuring this out together. And so by the time it was time for me to go, she was able to run our core program all by herself. And honestly, she's continuing to do that. I don't need to step back in. So I'm doing one-on-one work. She's running that, and we're just rolling with that. So I'm just so grateful. It was very much a blessing to have her. So I can't take the credit for that. She's done all of that. But we definitely used everything I talk about in the book to make that happen, to make it possible.
And what would you say the key elements there were to drive that efficiency, to drive that, I'll say, what's the word I'm thinking of? Business continuation, business continuation, right?
Yeah, I think there were two pieces. One was we had a really clear process for our customer experience. So it was really easy to say, all right, to take great care of our clients, you're going to be doing this weekly office hour, these one-on-one calls, you're helping answer questions, and you're doing this via recruiting, which she has down to a science. Go, right? So it was really straightforward. There wasn't a whole lot of back and forth, like, how are we going to do this? What's this going to look like? It's different for every person, which honestly was more the case during my first maternity leave. So we had done this. This was the second time we had done this. So we used a lot of what we learned the first time. So that was one. And then the second one, honestly, was really, really learning how to think about time properly and set the right goals. So we were really realistic going in, what was possible, what wasn't, what was going to happen when I came back. So I'm a naturally over-optimistic person when it comes to what I can accomplish in a period of time. So I've had to really, really build a lot of structure and systems around me to bring in some reality, and then we can win. It gives us a chance to win.
I really like how you've tied all this together. And I have one more follow-up question before we dive into the rapid fire questions where we get to know everything there is possible to know about you, at least the important things that we'll get into in just a minute. But you said something interesting in there that made me kind of really got my attention, which is we decided what was possible. How do you decide what's possible?
So the way that we do planning, we kind of bring things down to 6-week windows instead of year-long windows, because I'm very optimistic about what I can do in a year. But I know, realistically what's going to happen in 6 weeks. So that helps a lot, and helped a lot for planning for a time period like a maternity leave. And then the other thing is we actually allocate time to things. So if I have 8 hours available on a given day, which I don't anymore, so I'm adjusting to that. We say, all right, I need an hour for this, 2 hours for these calls, this. Oh, wait, I don't have time for anything else. That's going to have to wait. And so we had a very small, tangible list of things that absolutely had to get done while I was gone. A tangible list of things I needed to do before I left. So we felt like we had a really strong foundation there. And then when I was able to come back, there wasn't a whole lot that I had to play catch up on. I didn't have to dig out of a hole because we knew, there are a lot of things we want to do. These would be amazing. They're not going to happen. And that's fine.
What I particularly like about that story is, and you talk about giving entrepreneurs their freedom back, is that through building your own structure, processes, understanding the time it takes to get things done, it allows you to very naturally and, dare I say, professionally set boundaries, which I think is something a lot of people, and not just entrepreneurs, but in many lines of business run into. I can't say no to this or that, but this gives you a very tangible and very realistic way to do that. I would imagine that's extremely empowering. Is that a fair statement?
It is. Yeah. It's really hard. It's painful.
Right.
Because the thing that was the biggest realization for me is when we say protect our time, we don't think about how much of a conflict term protect is, right? When you protect, you're protecting from something, you're protecting something that you care about and value. And that involves pushing back on something, right? It's a conflict term. And so, it involves saying no to a lot of things I would not want to say no to. It involves saying no to myself and things I would like to do. So there's some pain in that, but it is incredibly empowering because then it's, if I'm overwhelmed, if I'm stressed, if I'm busy, I can fix it and I know how. And that feels really good.
That is awesome. And a big part of what your coaching for entrepreneurs is all about. Thank you for sharing that context. Let's dive into the rapid fire segment. So again, Meet the Author is about getting to know the author behind the book. This is a special episode to bring Ashlee Berghoff back after having published almost a year ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long, and now releasing her audiobook. And definitely go check out her book on Amazon, her audiobook. And you can also see her full YouTube podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. The YouTube one, of course, is video. Ashlee, ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
What is your favorite sandwich?
I like a good grilled cheese. I'm a kid.
Salad with maybe with some tomato soup, something like this.
Yeah.
Favorite color?
Red.
Red, beautiful color. And yet it didn't make it on the cover of your book. Interesting.
I know, right?
I didn't see red on
there. It's a pretty aggressive color. I don't actually wear much red. I don't know. I just like it.
I love it. Favorite or most memorable vacation spot?
Oh, we're going to Hawaii in April, so Hawaii is top of mind for me right now. But my favorite might be Taiwan. That was a surprise for me. I absolutely adored Taiwan.
Was that part of your time when you lived overseas?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We'll
Yep.
get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. That's a great one. Here's an important one, I think, for many. Scariest animal?
Scariest animal? For me, it wouldn't be the standard stuff. Like, I'm okay with spiders, relatively okay with snakes, but scorpions.
Mm,
Can't do
interesting.
Mm-mm.
Interesting. I
Too
like
fast.
that.
Too scary.
You know, can really sting you, right?
Yeah.
Here's a big one. Apples or bananas? Better fruit?
Apples.
Yeah, right. That's the right answer. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. Mm-hmm. Bananas last like 1 minute. It makes
Right.
it very difficult to eat them in time.
Favorite smell?
Favorite smell? Ooh, pine or sagebrush. I grew up in Wyoming.
Nice. And now Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Last photo on your phone?
That would be a picture of my infant. That's basically all the photos on my phone.
Last 75 photos on your phone.
Yeah.
Nice. Favorite song to sing with or without an audience?
Ooh. So I did rap Lose Yourself by Eminem at karaoke a long time ago and got a few cool points / people mocked me for a while, but it was fun. It caused a lot of memories.
I've tried that one and it's tough to keep up with the pace.
It is. It is. I was kind of proud of myself that I could do it a little bit.
Well done. Is there any video of this out there we can find?
No, and there will not be.
Just checking. Just checking. Back to your global story. You lived outside of the country for a while. Where was that?
I lived in the Philippines for most of 2013 in Manila.
And what were you doing over there?
I was with an anti-trafficking organization. I interned in their HR department. So I was a recruiter of sorts.
Unbelievable. And this is where this Taiwan adventure came into your life.
Yes. Yes.
Very cool.
We traveled a lot.
What was it about Taiwan you liked?
It was just so refreshing. It was not an easy year for me. It was a really difficult year. And I just remember being able to breathe and sleep. We slept in a room that didn't have any windows and would accidentally sleep till noon every day. Didn't realize I needed that. So I just feel very rested. And then we did a gondola ride up to a series of tea houses and temples in the mountains outside of the city. And it was just stunning. And honestly, we just showed up. I didn't know what to expect. We had a giant stuffed panda in our hotel room. It was awesome. The food, the soup dumplings
Was that a BYOP, bring your own panda, or was that part of the hotel decorations?
It was part of it. It was like a 3-foot tall, huge stuffed panda. It was amazing. So it was fun to have not planned anything. So everything was a surprise. Really.
There's been 1 or 2 vacations in my life that were completely unchoreographed, and they tended to be pretty interesting. And that is funny. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Where did we leave off? If you weren't a coach, what would you be doing?
Right now, with 2 young kids, I would be probably home with them. Would be the alternative for this stage of our lives. I love to work, but I kind of love all the stuff that goes with building a home too. So that's what I'd be doing instead. Yeah.
Love it. And Welby brought us just shared on your comments. He wanted to let you know that if you put your bananas in the fridge, they'll last longer. Thank you for that.
You can refrigerate bananas?
Never thought about that. Not going to lie.
Fun fact. That's good to know. Because they go bad on us all the time.
This is an important question here, Ashlee, that really gets you a good sense of people. What is one thing you have you really need to throw out?
That I have that I need to throw out?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so you can maybe even see it here. There is, well, I guess you can't really tell. There is a pile of 60 copies of my book back there that were printed incorrectly. So I had to get a refund and order new books. But I can't get rid of them. I can't do it. They have just a little bit of an alignment issue, and I keep trying to think of something I can do with them because it feels crazy to get rid of them.
If anybody out there has ideas for Ashlee and her 60 copies of her slightly wrong books, What does the Super Bowl do with the Cincinnati Bengals jerseys this year that they made for the Super Bowl champion Cincinnati Bengals t-shirts? Have you heard this story?
No.
So every year they have to make both, right?
Right.
Because they don't know
Right.
who's
So
going
they're
to
just
win.
ready. Yeah.
And then, of course, they have thousands of shirts that have nowhere to go because the Bengals lost, and they ship them off to actually different countries and donate them basically.
Right. Right. So then
maybe
people are walking around with champions, the Bengals 2022.
right. So maybe an idea for you in there somewhere. What is your most audacious goal for 2022?
This is going to sound a little backwards because it doesn't sound like a goal, but our goal is to keep things simple. I've been in business for 5 years. It's always been a fight. We're fighting for the next thing. We're pushing, we're trying things, we're experimenting, we're, leaning into really difficult things, trying things, failing. And this year, we don't want to do that. We just want to kind of build the relationships that we really appreciate and pour into those and serve the people that are in our orbit and just keep it really simple.
I love that.
And it's going to feel really backwards to me because I'm very type A and driven, but that's the goal.
You talk in your book a little bit about, the shiny object syndrome. And so taking a little bit of your own lesson here and calming down, executing on what you have and going from there. Hey, I love it. Have you ever, now that you've had the great privilege of signing, hundreds of pre-sale copies of your book, I guess about a year ago or so, not quite. Have you ever asked anyone for their autograph?
I don't think I have.
Interesting.
I have not. I haven't had many celebrity sightings or anything like that. And honestly, I don't even know if I've gone to a book signing event. I need to do that.
Think about it.
Yeah, I need to do that.
If you ask nicely, maybe I'll sign a copy of my book for you. Think about it.
Yes, please. There we go. I have now asked for someone's autograph.
I think that's called leading the witness. In your book, what was your couple of questions about the book, and we'll wrap it up here with Ashlee Berghoff. Meet the author live, bringing you back after having your book out for a year and now your audiobook out. So cool. A couple of questions about your book here, and we'll wrap it up. Favorite praise quote for your book? The quotes on the back of your book, that is.
Ooh, on the back of the book? I'm now trying to remember which ones. Okay. Mike Michalowicz has been my hero since I started the business and read Profit First. And I just really, really appreciate him and the way he shows up in his business. And in my first year, I had Mission Mike as a category in my task list. And it was all just about, I wanted to become friends with Mike. And I've met him and he knows me and we've had conversations at this point. And I just am so grateful for that. And he blurbed my book and that was such a gift.
So you reached out to him, you developed a relationship with him. He gave you this book, the quote for your book, and you've really sounds like a super fan for some time.
I've been a super fan for some time. Yes, that's correct.
What did we capture? What is the essence of Mike here that is so interesting to you? Did we capture it there?
He is quirky and genuine. And yeah, he's genuinely like, I feel like, especially in online entrepreneurship, there's a lot that feels a little fake, feels a little like they're trying to get you to do something, right? A little salesy. And he just is truly generous and shows up to serve people. And I've learned a lot from watching how he does that. And he still sells, right? He just put out a book about marketing and selling, and but he does it in a way that feels really real.
Quirky and authentic.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
When you went through your writing journey, what was your favorite place to write?
Right here, my standing desk.
Love it. Get the legs stretched out. Most memorable, maybe bizarre moment in the writing journey for you?
Memorable or bizarre?
Maybe bizarre memorable. Bizarre-mable? Is that a word?
That's a good question. I think the thing that it's not so much bizarre, but the thing I didn't expect is how much I would need to learn about the topic I was writing about. And I think it's, oh no, I'm blanking on his name, but one of the kind of major authors who writes about a variety of interesting topics always says that he writes about things he wants to learn about, not things he's already an expert in. And that turned out to be my experience too, and was very memorable and kind of is the thing if I were to write another book that would draw me back.
I absolutely love you sharing that perspective, because I think so many people think about, oh, I can't write a book because I don't know enough about this or that, or how do I put this story together? And in fact, It's like a big research paper, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the longest research paper you've ever written for college is writing a book. And I love to hear that context, because I think for many of those out there thinking, should I write a book? How do I write a book? Do I have enough information? The reality is it's a journey. It's a journey of learning and growing,
Right.
and having a thesis, refining it. I mean, I made several pivots in my book as it went, and it sounds like you did too. Super cool perspective.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
last question. Your writing journey, your author journey in 5 words.
5 words. Does it have to make a sentence, or can it just be 5 adjectives?
Your favorite 5 words.
Okay.
That describe the book journey.
Exhausting, fulfilling, enlightening, terrifying, and relationship building.
Wow. 5.5 words there. You snuck an extra.
I know. I put a hyphen in, it counts.
I love the contrast in the words there between, sort of positive and negative and terrifying. Certainly part of the journey for everybody out there, but you made it through. You've got this lovely book out there in the world, Eureka Results, and now the audiobook available wherever you buy books online. If people want to connect with Ashlee, the best way to do so is either her website or on LinkedIn. Ashlee Berghoff, the only Ashlee Berghoff in the world. Is that right?
Yep.
With that
spelled
spelling?
This way anyway. Yep.
I always knew you were truly unique, but now I know it's an absolute fact. So I appreciate that. Check out Ashlee's episode on the creator community, episode 1, available on YouTube, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts out there. Anything we didn't get to today, Ashlee, you were hoping to cover?
No, this feels great. And shout out to you, John. I'm so grateful for everything you do for our author community. I'm grateful to know you.
The feeling is very mutual. I appreciate you saying that. Go out and get a copy of Ashlee's new audiobook. Check out her podcast on YouTube and check out her coaching services. Absolutely amazing. Get your freedom back, entrepreneurs out there. Here's a great way to get it done. Ashlee, great to see you. Thanks for jumping on an episode here.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone who listened in. Catch us next week for next episode of Meet the Author. I think we're going to have Elisa Parenti on next Friday. So look forward to that one. But thanks to see you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.